Hey everyone, welcome to Monday Musing 31, and we are 4 minutes late, and there's a reason we're 4 minutes late. The software I was using threw an error on me just as I hit go live, so I've lost 4 minutes. Funnily enough, I didn't even notice the error, so I've been talking for the last 4 minutes, chatting to you guys, having a great old time. And now I've got to kind of repeat that preamble as if you weren't there. So tonight is about tournament preparation. How do we get ready for a tournament, really? And that's what I'm thinking about, because my entire focus has been around getting the models painted, but it's not been about everything else that I need to do. And that's what hit me just probably this morning. It suddenly occurred to me, I remember several weeks out I had lots and lots of wonderful plans, you know, and none of them have come to fruition because painting the models has just become the you know, absolute and only focus. Can somebody be wonderful enough and tell me whether it's okay? I've actually left the background music on from when we did a live battle report. So one, is that annoying, or actually do you not mind a bit of background music? It kind of sounds okay in the background, and probably over my dulcet tones you would struggle to hear it anyway, but we'll see. I have got Daryl saying it's alive, so hopefully you guys can forgive me for that slight delay to the show. What I will do though, I will recap the recap, because I've already done this once before. You have to remember them, suffering from deja vu right now. Reaper was in there nice and early asking for a video on dry brushing. Yeah, I think we should do that at some point. I know that I think Coleman's probably provided the link to you anyway on the forum, which is cool. There are other videos available, but we might do it because, you know, I think dry brushing is one of those things. You know, everybody thinks it's the simplest technique. I don't think it is. I think there's a lot of work going into doing dry brushing well, and I've definitely seen Sam do some amazing dry brushing. When it's done right, it can look incredible. And I have to say, I've been using a bit of dry brush on my Magma Droff and on the bases, and if you get it right and there's no streaking, it can look really, really effective. So yes, maybe that's one for us to look at. Oh, Surreal saying oi. Coleman chatting around. Daryl is in the chat as well saying hello. Who else is in there? Derpimus Maximus saying good evening to us all. This is a little bit faster than the last time because I really am conscious I'm now behind schedule. Al Kirkman is in saying good evening. Johnny Rockstar has joined us. Oh, who else is in there? The Orc Boys. And apologies if I'm shooting past anyone because I'm trying to catch up quick. Ralph, of course, is in there. You know, I hope that your evening meal went well. I was watching him prepare his evening meal tonight. It's not like a service he provides, but every now and then I just dial in to his Google Hangouts and watch him prepare a meal. It's good, solid online content. Al Kirkham talking about using Vallejo over the top of poster paints for most things, because Ralph's been using poster paints to create his own custom glazes and it's worked for him. So there you go. Personally, I find them a little bit up and down, quality's inconsistent and stuff like that, but if you can make it work, make it work. Sam says, yo, you can do it, Sam, you can do it. Look down, stop looking at the screen, just you can do it. Who else is in there? Sam saying well done. I hope he's saying well done to me, just cheering him on. That could be the case. Jim Wilson says, hey everyone, looks like I made it just in time for the start of the show. You were actually plenty of time for the start of the show because my internet failed on me, so enough to put me in a little bit of a flap, so let's calm down a bit. All is dust and waiting screen, so apologies for that. Oh, okay folks, I actually did. I think that's Daryl, Darapus Maximus. Had to refresh the browser on and off, shows it's still waiting. Are we live yet? Nope. And then we do get to the bit where somebody's screaming it's alive, which is fantastic stuff. And then there's a million tons of chat, which hopefully that's everybody saying hello. Ooh, Frost and Fizz, I hate that when it happens to me, I think that's meant to say. And yes, it is, it freaks you out, doesn't it? And the problem is the error had popped up on the other monitor and I hadn't noticed the error. So here's me talking away to pretty much everything you've seen so far. Hey there, beautiful people, says Frost and Fizz. Elsa Nation's in. Hey Elsa Nation, thanks for the show the other night. I didn't catch it live, but you did get me through a late hour last night as I was working on my bases. Coleman says things are working fine, music is fine. Slippy Tiger says, never mind us. We are just some harmless deep sea trogoffs. Oh, bless. It's all about the sea creatures. That's what's coming. Wes 80 saying evening, Void 72 saying evening all, Johnny Rockstar saying cool, wow, okay, thanks. Must be to somebody else, I think, but hey, Johnny Rockstar, good to see you as ever. Oh, Paul Collier, I'm sat in my yellow Rhino watching this on my phone. Awesome. Hey Paul, how you doing? I'm glad you can join me from your transportation device. Daryl says, what purple accent you've done on your base is spot on, Phil. For someone who can't see it, you sure do the colour well. Yes, to me, they've had a wash on top now as well. To me, I think they're probably more pink than blue. I think so. They look a bit pink to me, but I don't know. My worry is actually I mess up on the highlights, so I tend to cheat on the highlights. I go kind of old school with purple, and I just put whites into it to kind of create my highlight color, because I really don't. There's so many times I put pink on top of purple and messed up, so I tend to, if I know that I've got purple because of the label as the base coat, and then I just lighten it up and hope that everything works okay. So I use the ZZ and Xeros or something like that purple. I thought it was Xenos, but apparently it's not, and I was corrected on that. But if anybody's got the Xeros purple or something, a very dark, beautiful purple, or at least in my imagination that's what it is, because I have to imagine what purple is. I'm really frustrated, by the way, because I think purple would probably be a really cool colour if you could see it. Kablams, Al Kirkham, hey Kablams, how's the family? Yes, Kablams, I hope all is well with you. Rowlet431 saying hello. Rowlet? Rowlet. I'm going to go with Rowlet, and apologies if I've messed that up. There you go. We are up and caught up with the chat, which is good news. So maybe at 11 minutes into the show, minus the 4 minutes where I wasn't live at all, we could have a little think about Xerxes, I think is maybe what it is. Like the guy from 300, I think. Well, there you go. Xerxes purple. It seemed a beautiful deep colour. Maybe I should show you the bases as they're looking now. Why not? Let's just have a quick look at that. There you go. So that's, I'm going to have to tilt it because we've got some reflection in there. The reflection will go, but that's how my base is looking at the moment. I've got the kind of little burn marks and stuff on the skull, and I've got a couple of these little wonderful flexible plants. Oh, they're so cute. Look how they ping, hanging out of the eye sockets and stuff like that. And there's meant to be like a little bit of staining from smoke rising out of the eye sockets and stuff. And the broken spine in 4 places sort of just drop down there and those kind of things. I'm pretty pleased with it. We won't really know what it looks like until I've got rid of this gloss. There's an indication of what it looks like when you put Purity Seal on. And then I'm in 2 minds of whether to reintroduce like a satin varnish onto that to give... I don't like the high gloss because I'm not sure lava should have a high gloss look. I don't know yet. That's the truth. I'm not quite sure which way to go with it. I might introduce the gloss back to it. I might introduce the satin back to it. But the main thing is the bases in all their mammoth glory, if that's going to do. There you go. They're all done, or at least for the edge paint to go on, they're all done enough for me to get the models on. And hiding off the side of here, of course, whoa, is the magma drop, which I just dropped. So the magma drop is ready for basing. It is, again, not complete. What I'm having to do is work in stages where I think, well, if they're on bases, I can play them. I would like, of course, to get some of the detail work in and do all of that stuff. But right now, priority is get them on the bases so I can at least stamp them around the table, is the idea. Oh, right. Okay, so preparation for the tournament. Oh, by the way, I mentioned him the first time, but of course I don't think you were watching. Steve is next to me. Hello. Steve's come around to do any hobby. Because all the cameras are set up for battle reports, and I'm hoping to squeeze a battle report in on Wednesday. I haven't dismantled the camera, and therefore Steve's just going to sit quietly over there and get on with some hobby. Can I at least show what you're working on? Yeah. And in fact, actually, why not see if we can get the big beastie on camera as well. So this is what Steve's working on at the moment. This is a really shaky model, isn't it? He really boings, doesn't he? Which is quite terrifying.
It's a bit bouncy.
So you're literally just obviously on base coats and wash stage at this stage. But, you know, I mean, these are going to be all ghostly skulls and stuff like that, are they? So that's what you're working on.
Similar to my mortis engine.
And I'm correct in thinking this is your HQ, yes?
It's my general, yeah.
This is your general. You do know, of course, if you stick a ghost on the base, you automatically win any painting competition.
Yeah.
Matthew Pink can testify to that, can't he? We'll talk about ghost base gate another time, maybe. I'm sure we've jibed about that in the past. And can you pass me, what is that? The mortis engine? Let's have a look at this. This is nuts. Again, I've got to be careful because if I break this, Steve's going to be he's going to be in real trouble for the tournament, isn't he? If I accidentally smash this to pieces. I'm hoping it's going to catch. Let's see if I can just zoom out a bit and possibly break it as we go on. So here we go. There you go. There's probably getting most of the mortis engine in, so you'll get an idea from that. Oh, I think I broke a bit. So there you go. There's some dude there. It seems to be some form of choir. A one-man floating ghostly choir singing she'll be coming round the mountain. That's what I think. You know that I'm going to sing this if I end up playing against you, Steve. But it's a beautiful model. I really like this kind of glow effect on the base that he's done with dry brushing. It's just beautiful. So yeah, it's good work. It's good work. Nice centerpiece. Right, okay, enough of what's on the hobby desk for now. Phew. Right, where are we? Should we catch up on the chat a little bit, and then we'll talk about the preparation that I think gets missed. And the reason I think it gets missed is because I missed it. Big Rich says, hi all, just got home from work. Hey Big Rich, thank you for joining us. Kablam says, not too bad, thanks. That's good news, much better, excellent. Johnny Rockstar, great. Now I'll be known as the guy that randomly says, cool, wow, okay, thanks. Sorry about that, Johnny. Paul Collier, wish I was armed. Sometimes they should do a custom chapter with green and gold crest. Ooh, right, okay, they're chatting to each other though. McCraggum saying ahoy. Base is looking cracking, Phil. Thank you very much, McCraggum. Frost and Fizz and Johnny Rockstar both loving the bases. That's cool. Thank you very much. Magmadroff, some love from Daryl on the Magmadroff. And Corey is saying hello. Hey guys. So hello Corey, how are you? And where are we at? Johnny Rockstar says tonight I built my first models in about 3 months. Well, let's have a little congratulations to Johnny for building first models in 3 months. It's horrible when you have a break and you can't get the mojo to get back. I know Sam did a show previously, recently actually, on keeping that mojo going. I think the longer it goes, the harder it is to get going again, isn't it? Right. Whoa. Jumping. But yes, that's okay. We're keeping it with chat. Right. Let's get on to, I think for the next 10, 15, 20 minutes, we'll chat a little bit about the tournament prep and the things that I think I've missed. And that somehow, by some crazy miracle, I'm hoping to feed back in. And also, in the last 20 minutes of the show, I want to have a quick look at what's been going up on the community. So I want to have a look at what's going off in the forum on wargameronline.com. We'll have a look at the online community as well, Wargamer Online community, and a little bit of the center of the hobby. Let's have a look at the Warhammer community page as well, just to see what's going on there, because there's been some pretty cool stuff talked about in the last few days, which is good news. It's always good to see great releases coming. Yes, I do indeed have a pre-order out this week, so I'm hoping I can get those. I'm hoping I'm going to have time to even open that box when it arrives, but we'll see. Okay, right. What have I missed, and what do I need to do? First and foremost, painting the models is pretty much high on the list, isn't it? And that's the problem. I've got absorbed into that. Transporting the models, tick. I was late to the transporting my models party, but wonderfully, if you saw up on the Facebook group, I put up my picture of my 2 A cases that arrived. I'm pretty pleased. I can probably get this 1,000-point army into 1 case, probably. There's a good chance I might have to go over to 2 cases because the size of the Magmadroff. And I've made my life a little bit more tricksy because I've added something on top of the Magmadroff that's made him half an inch taller as well. So I may have messed up.
I think I'll beat you on that one.
Yeah, no, that's mental. That's a case in its own right, isn't it? So transport is good. I think I've missed some of the detail prep, really. I wanted definitely some tokens to help me out. Some nice little army themed tokens. This is the thing, is what I'm probably going to have to do is to just print some little tokens out or something like that to help me remember stuff on the table. So the +1 saves, the -1 saves, the half movement, the remove all dead from the table within 60 inches. Those tokens that will really, I think, help me during the game. I haven't had time to do them, and I think you have to think about making the game as fast as possible. You have to think about getting, you know, the most effectiveness out of what your army can do, and to do that you need to remember to do everything your army can do. So tokens on the table saying this unit's at -1, this unit is re-rolling wounds to hit, this unit is re-rolling ones to hit. Really, really useful to have little tokens that remind you. So what I'm probably going to do is just print them out and you know, cut them out of paper, possibly stick them to a little 25mm base or something like that, just so they look okay. My original plan was to 3D print them and do some really cool little magma rocks and stuff like that. I can't see it happening. I can't see me finding the time to do it. Certainly though, it's going to be something that not only am I going to do to help with the battle reports, so we remember these things on battle reports, but also for future tournaments, so I'm just on my game and I'm remembering all my little rules. I think particularly where you're having an effect on your opponent's army, because you're either relying on your opponent to remember, or you're having to remember an effect, which I think is the right way around. I think it's your responsibility, if you've done something to the opponent's army, to remind them that's the case. So if they're coming at you and that you've made them -1 to hit or something like that, it's your responsibility to remember that and remind them that when they start to roll. So as soon as they pick up their dice, hey, don't forget your -1 to hit. Because if they roll and they pick up all their dice and they move on to the wound roll, and you're like, whoa, 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 you forgot the -1 to hit, I don't think you can blame your opponent on that. Because in my mind, I've got, hopefully, how my army works. But it's how my army works, modified, or in particular, unmodified, by my own battle tome. So to remember also what's happening from my opponent, you know, that's the way to go. I think the next thing, and Ralph does seem Ralph pop it up as well, is the cheat sheet. I've been working on my cheat sheet, and by that it's not to cheat at all. What it is to remind me of key things that I need to remember. So just briefly a note of hero phase, remember to do this. Combat phase, remember to check which units were within 20 inch of the Runefather. You know, I also have 2 Rune Smiters, and they can grant, I think, re-roll wound rolls of 1, I think they grant. I can't remember for certain now. But again, they can choose 1 unit each per turn. So remembering to grant that, to select the unit within range, and to put a marker next to them. So when it comes to the combat, I've not forgotten that. That cheat sheet just helps you go through, right, I'm in the hero phase, what do I need to do now? Right, we're moving into combat, or we're moving into shooting, what do I need to do? What bonuses have I got in move, and those kind of things. And I think on your cheat sheet as well, get 5 of them, 1 per game, and leave space to scribble. Because if your opponent does impact you, say reduces movement or reduces charge, we've been talking to Steve tonight, he's got some spells that can take you down to 1d6 for the charge, is that right?
1d6 for the charge.
So you can take down to 1d6 for the charge. It's great to have your own cheat sheet that you can scribble on and go, Magma Draft, 1d6 on charge this turn. You know, something like that. So you are taking a bit of responsibility to remember what impact it's had on your army as well. So you can't just sort of say, well, I forgot, so that's life, you know. Because I want to play, you know, I don't think I've got a competitive list. I don't think so. If I was going all out competitive, there'd definitely be a 30-man Berserker unit in there. There's not. So I don't get that 4-up ignore wound. I do. I get it for 1 model, but as soon as I take 1 wound, then that's gone. You know, so I haven't maxed out the units and stuff like that. I'm going for fun, and more importantly, I want to be kind of on my game, so when my opponents are playing against me, they're not waiting for me to go, oh, wait a minute, can we go back? Oh no, I forgot that. And I just want to be kind of like okay, it's hero phase, he's going to do that, he's going to do this, this is doing these to those guys, token down, right, I'm into my movement phase, you know, and really kind of be on my game there. So I think the cheat sheet is a brilliant idea. The way I did it was I just scribbled down hero phase, movement phase, shooting phase, combat phase, and then I went through my rules going, all right, what does my leader do in the hero phase? He does this. What do my characters do in hero phase? They do this. What else can I do in movement? All right, I can do this, and just made a quick note of all of those things. The other thing I've done, and this is obviously quite specific to the Fire Slayers, is I can play a rune per turn, and I can pick the rune, but I have to roll the dice, and on the 1 to 5 I have the normal effect, and on the 6 I have an enhanced effect. So this can be piling of 5 inches rather than 3, and you know, I think the enhanced effect is I can re-roll charge or something. That's completely wrong. I've just messed it up. I'm definitely going to put those 5 things on my cheat sheet and circle the one that's active and cross it off as I've used it, because definitely when I get to see Steve, one of my rune enables me to remove all units of the dead from the table. I'll be playing that for turn 1 against Steve.
Is that before, after of Curse of Years?
Everything. It's both, whichever I choose during the. It's very powerful, that rune. There's another one as well that enables me to bat Stormcast Eternal off the table as well. So, no, I don't have a rune anywhere near as powerful to that, but I do like winding Steve up about it. So there you go. So tokens, cheat sheets. I think that's important. Mid-game transportation, mid-game storage. We've got our A cases, which are pretty cool, or at least I've got the A cases. You've got little trays, you can put them back on and slide them in. But actually, I was thinking, like, you know, the tray for just transporting your army around. Now, Sarah's come up trumps on this. You may have seen on our battle reports, we've got these little black trays that look a little bit like slate. All of our dudes are getting. Oh, can I do that? Yes, there you go. There's my little man. Actually, let's switch to the desk cam. So this was done with the intent. Oh, he's a lot smaller now. Let's zoom in a little bit. This was done with the intent of being able to transport them with the AK. So I've got my little guy here. This is actually a test model. Strangely enough, this fellow's not actually in my list. I do have rune smiters, but I'm using custom conversion rune smiters. Because I wasn't a big fan of the best thing about Hero Quest pose. Because he's definitely in the Hero Quest pose, let's face it. I wasn't a big fan of the Hero Quest pose. Strangely enough, I've actually started to like the model. Now I've seen him in the context of a round base. It looked really, really flat, and there's something about the space that the base creates on the model, and I think you'll get what I mean when I kind of maybe put him down and angle him that way. I actually think he looks okay now, so I'm you never know. You never know. He'll certainly be in my 2,000 point list, because he'll be my 3rd rune smiter that would be going into a 2,000 point list. But the point I was making is my bases are magnetized for transport on A cases. But what my wife pointed out is we've got a tin of magnetic, it was a magnetic paint. And essentially what it is a heavy duty paint with a whole bunch of iron filings, very fine ground. You put 3 or 4 coats on, and it kind of builds up a metal base coat. So bless her, Sarah is currently painting trays with this magnetic paint, which means I'll be able to pick up the army, drop them onto one of these trays. I don't think they're going to be magnetic enough to be able to just turn them upside down. But the point is I can carry them around. Rachel can knock me when she's carrying like 8 beers past me and stuff like that, and my models won't just go flying off the tray. So there you go. So that preparation to tidy your models away quickly, move on to the next table, and get your head in the game, rather than did I pick all of my models up, have I remembered everything. I would have liked to take one of those trays and also turn it into a display tray, which would have been really, really cool. It would have been nice. Definitely don't have the time for that. If I was going to do it, I'd have done a combination one, I think, for Rachel's Seraphim army and mine, to have sort of jungle going into a lava, you know, and it's kind of 2 worlds meeting. And obviously the Fire Slayers on one side and the Seraphim on the other side, because those of you who don't know, I'm teamed up with Rachel, so I am with the mighty armies of Seraphon and the even mightier Dreadsaurian. So this is pretty exciting. I don't even actually think we could have fit both armies on one tray, given the size of the Dreadsaurian, and I can't quite remember what else Rachel's taking as well, so that's going to be fun. So yeah, certainly some thought into sort of that mid-game storage, tidying your models away quickly, but then transporting them to the next table. Give that some thought, because you don't want to be kind of packing down. Personally, the time between games, I'm going to be going and dragging Rachel out the bar and bringing her back towards the gaming table. Bless her, she'll be cursing me for this. I think there's probably a good chance that the organisers will be dragging myself and Rachel out the bar, but we'll see, we'll see. Definitely there's an element of the competition that appears to be a drinking competition as opposed to a gaming competition, but I'm hoping we can keep it together. I'm hoping so, but I think I'm quite giddy about this tournament, so I'm hoping I can behave myself throughout a bit. I've just seen Ortboy say it doesn't help that Fire Slayers get a really big FAQ this Thursday. Thanks for that. That'd be amazing, wouldn't it? That would be absolutely amazing. Let's catch up a little bit on the chat. What I want while I'm catching up on the chat then is suggestions, people. Suggestions on what I've missed, because for right now my focus is obviously finish the RV. Second, we got the trays in place because the wife of amazingness is helping me sort that out. The tokens, yeah, it's going to be cheap and cheerful. It's going to be quick, but at least I'm going to try and remember my stuff. So
borrow,
even if it's the thing is, there's a lot of specific stuff, Steve. Like you know, re-roll ones, re-roll wounds of one, re-roll. It gets quite granular, and that's the thing. But you know, at the end of the day, it won't take me long to kind of just print some stuff out and stick it to a you know, a 25mm base. But it would have been nice to kind of do it out of lava or something like that. Who knows? It's just not going to happen. But I'll work something out. But while I catch up on the chat, then suggestion, please, suggestions. Oh, and the next question I need to ask is Scottish or Swedish. And we'll come back to that in a bit. Scottish or Swedish? Yeah. Just vote now, Scottish or Swedish.
Oh no,
yeah. We'll talk about that when we catch up with that. And behave yourself, by the way. I love both the Scots and the Swedes, so it's not in that sense, But vote now, but vote blind. How about that? Right. Coleman says, I thought the Tree Lord was tricky to paint. Tree Lords are impossible to paint. But yes, I assume you're talking about Steve's model there, in particular that Mortis engine, which is just, I mean, let's face it, it's just utterly insane, that model.
1, 2, 3, 4 bits if you don't include the spoons.
Components to build, yeah. Yeah. That's a lot of work. Ralph Hummel says you definitely need a cheat sheet. Smogs Raff is joining us. Hey everyone. Hey Smogs Raff, how you doing? Hovar Thompson Boo saying hi everyone. Awesome, thank you for joining us. Naru saying hello. Hey mate, how you doing? What else have we got going off? Oh, right. Russ Al Kilman. Oh no, that was a comment to Coleman. Rustbelt Blacksmith, totally agree, Phil. Cheat sheets are a must. There you go. I think you're right, and I'm glad I found the time to make it. It didn't take me that long, actually. It didn't take me that long. I want to embellish it. You know, if I had time, I'd work it out graphically as well. I think the other thing I've done. Oh, we'll come back to that. Actually, we'll come back to the battle tome as well. We'll come back to that. What else? Oh, boys, it doesn't help. Oh, thank you very much for the Fire Slayers comment. Oh, it's just making me evil. OneSpaz11 says, I made it live. Yes, you did, mate. That's good. Thanks for joining us. Kablams, I'm a big fan of tokens. There you go. That's what it's all about. It's all about tokens and cheat sheets. But come on, people, you must have some other ideas. Coleman saying my wife is a saint. She's more than a saint. She's a saint of saints, I think. And to be honest, she's been amazing this week, because in between work, and I've had work to do at home this week as well, and last week. So in between that, there's been trying to get hobby done. And you know, she's done all the cooking. She's done everything this week. She's just so I could just get back to the painting desk. So she's been amazing. I have at least walked the dog though, because you can't abandon that duty. It doesn't matter what you've got on in life. You cannot shirk taking the dog out when there's a wind chill factor of -18, which I'm not sure that's true, but that's what it felt like. Maybe I shouldn't have gone out in my pajamas. Umar Bashir has made it to a live show. Whoa, 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 where are you at? There he's at. Thank you for joining us, mate. That's cool. And I'm assuming you're a mate of Reapers as well. So instantly make it up into my favourite top 10 people joining me on chat. Johnny Rockstar, Scottish, obviously. Decimus Maximus, if it's girls in between, is she Swedish? I knew, you know what? I shouldn't have left this that open. Yeah. Daryl, Scottish. I've just caused trouble now over the chat, hasn't I? What have we got? We've got Old Knuckles. Is this kilt related? No, it's not kilt related, but it's accent and battle cry related. There you go, we'll move on. If it's about whiskey, Swedish for me, says Coleman. Swedish, 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 says Kablams. Don't forget your mojo up before you go. I'm confused by that. Don't forget to get your mojo up before you go. There you go. I heard there would be Custodes here from Chapter Master Valric. Custodes? Custodes? There'll be Custodes. Well, you know, as you know, Sam's done Custodes. We've not been working on Custodes right now. We're like the you know, wargaming moon. We wax and wane, and right now, you know, 40k is descending, and Age of Sigmar is rising. But that's all been about us building up to this tournament. As soon as the tournament's out the way, let's not turn my monitors off. As soon as the tournament's out the way, I'm going to be turning my attention back towards 40k as well, with a greater degree of balance to the battle reports. As you know, we're going to be upping the battle report count. We're already upping the battle report count. There's going to be more and more. So we'll see a balance between 40k and Age of Sigmar. But in terms of channel content, we have all been head down getting ready for this Age of Sigmar doubles tournament. The first thing I'm going to do as soon as the dust has settled on this tournament, and I've raised my prize aloft, which will be by the way, I'm going to buy one of those leather tankards from Bugman's, and it doesn't matter where I come in the tournament, because if I can raise my leather tankard, I've won. I've already won. I'm going to win the minute I arrive at Bugman's bar and buy a tankard. The game is just a minor detail to the weekend. Johnny Rockstar, Space Wolves are Swedish, Dwarves are Scottish. Well, there you go. You see, I mean, you're kind of covering what I wanted to cover. Oh, boys, is Rachel taking a proxy stapler? Stapler? Oh, I see what you mean. No, she is using all genuine Games Workshop models. At no point will a stapler be used to proxy any of her stuff, although a pint pot certainly might become some of the objective markers. Ooh, good question. Do you need to take your own objective markers? Shout out, peeps. Ralph Hummel says, right, peeps, first call for tonight, please like and subscribe if you've not already done so. Well, I would appreciate those likes and subscribes, because I crave approval. We're 45 people watching and I've got 16 likes. That's a 33% approval rating at the moment. That's less. Oh, I'm not going political. It's less than some people in the world. So come on, can I get a greater approval rating? Where are we now? I changed the colour scheme for my Power Fist as Reaper. Decimus Maximus. Oh, here we go. No, it's jumped back up again. So let's go back down to the bottom, because I definitely saw some dwarves of Swiss. My Imperial dwarves of Swiss. Oh, cool. A Sleepy Tiger. Done the Coven Throne and have a Palanquin next on the list. Not looking forward to it. I'm going to embellish with Tomb King bits. What's a Coven Throne, Steve?
So the Coven Throne and the Bloodseeker Palanquin are the other two variants of that model. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I can see why you're not looking forward to that. I do like a token, says Skegatron, but even with them, I find sometimes I forget to check what they are. Too right, that's my problem. I am old and wizened, so the chances of me remembering I'm actually at Warhammer World is going to be a remote. Luckily, Rachel is bullet sharp when it comes to Age of Sigmar rules, so she's going to be there to tug on my sleeve and say, Phil, You forgot to do that in the Majigami phase. Darryl says, the only thing I could recommend a little late now, though, is to sort out your list and practice it early and often. The special rules become second nature. That, of course, is the ideal. And there is the conundrum for me of the tournament. I find tournaments the greatest motivation to get an army painted. I had this debate with Sam, and we were kind of saying, you know, never do a new army for a tournament. But you know what? What better to make you get that new army done than knowing you've got a tournament coming? It's this immovable object that you've just got to get your army ready for. I would have never made the progress I've made on the Fire Slayers if I was just kind of doing them for the channel and those kind of things. I just wouldn't have had that focus. The problem is I'm running right up to the deadline. So right now my army is practiced in theory alone.
Same.
I did consider some proxy games. I considered taking Dryads and making them Berserkers. I considered taking them Tree Lords and making them Magma Drafts, because, you know, the base size is the same at least. I couldn't do it. I couldn't bring myself to do it. I am so averse to proxying. I just couldn't do it. So I'm hoping I'm going to get 1, possibly 2 games in with the army. Certainly we're going up to Warhammer World on the Friday, so we're going to try and get there in the evening. I think it's open till late, I'm hoping it is, and we're going to try and get a game in there as well on Friday before the tournament kicks off. So that would be cool if we can get that done. Rustbelt Backsmith, I think bundling dice when preparing for a tourney isn't a bad idea. If you have 40 Argers, a bag box with 40 dice. As you lose models, remove them rather than counting them. Oh my goodness, Rustbelt, that is an amazing idea. I think, I mean, obviously you've got to, are you suggesting then you have a bag per unit almost, or you have a bag just for the big unit maybe? Yeah, I see that. That's really going to speed up those dice rolls, isn't it? That's cool. Ginger Dwarves, Scottish. I mean, that's where I am, Johnny Rockstar. And I think I've got my battle cry as well. You as number 9, me as number 10. You can't just jump above Reaper like that. Reaper's in number 1. You've got to work. You've got to work to get past Reaper. Do cook your dice, says Ralph Hummel. Right, let's talk before I catch up on the rest of the chat. I'm getting close to 70% approval. Thank you very much for all the likes. That's sorely appreciated. We're told at least it helps promote the content on YouTube, so I appreciate that very much. Thank you very much. Right, you need an axe. I think there's all sorts of stuff going off now. Battle cries, obviously Scottish. Square, go, you rocket. I don't know what that means. This is my battle cry. This is my battle cry. And I'm not sure Sam's going to forgive me, because I know that he sees his beastmen as Scottish, but that's okay. You can have Scottish beastmen, and you can have Scottish dwarves, can't you? But this is my battle cry. Excuse me for the accent. I'm going to do my best, alright? But between now and the tournament, I'm going to practice this. You can take our lives, but you can't take our gold. Get it? Our gold? Yeah, you know, like... Oh, it doesn't matter. It's silence, not one laugh.
I thought it was you could take our freedom.
No, you can take our lives.
Oh, you go
because obviously you're getting killed in the game, aren't you?
Yeah.
But you can't take our gold.
Yeah.
It's genius. If I had time, I'd have it printed. That was a bit piratey.
A little bit pirate.
Scottish pirate. Right, Al Kirkham says, I have to agree with you, Phil. I think it keeps your mojo going. Cool. I can't play proxy. Yep. Me too. Should be done for Wednesday, says Reaper, question mark. I really hope so. James Hadley, hi everyone. Just doing the dishes. Then going to get my paint on. Go for it, James. Good to get the paint out. Buy a few plastic cups. Number of dice in each cup. Have a friend who uses them to speed up his game. Good idea, actually. Just plastic cups. Daryl says I sounded like a leprechaun. I completely messed up. Slippy Tiger, I like the North Dwarf of Warhammer Total War. Is your coat, mate? Says Colvin. I almost feel like letting you live. Sounds a little piratey from Jim Wilson. Yeah, I'm totally better than Reaper, says Reaper. No, says Uma. Uma. There you go. Well, we'll see. We'll see. Like I say, earn your place. Derpimus Maximus. Square, go, an invitation to ungentlemanly fisticuffs. Rocket, an individual of dubious intelligence. Roaster may be used, but also implied a tendency to make a fool of oneself. I love it. I love it. Thank you very much. Derpimus, feel free to provide me with some more battle cries. Certainly one of my... I don't think I'm playing the unit, actually, but I'm sure one of them is... There is a rule in the Fire Slayers that you have to insult the unit you're attacking, and it gives a bonus against them. So some truly Scottish Scottish insults. Keep it clean though, folks. Would be useful at this time. Yeah. So well, we did remember something else somewhere in all of that chat. I actually remembered something else in terms of preparation. But it's completely slipped my mind. So that has gone. It's gone. And it could have been a real golden nugget of stuff that would have been useful for the tournament. Oh, printed t-shirts, but I'm sure that's definitely not what I was trying to remember. Johnny Rockstar, I'm Scottish and your accent isn't too bad. I haven't unsubbed. Oh no, yet. Okay, apologies. I'm not going to do it again until I've had some proper tuition. And yeah, getting that battle cry right. But you know, the gold, you know, that's funny, isn't it? Just a little bit. Come on, give me something, people. Okay, so that's it. What did we talk about? We talked about cheat sheets, we talked about tokens, we talked about transporting your models, we talked about in-event transportation, trays, display trays, etc. I really like the idea of clustering dice, particularly if you have large units. Cups of dice as oh no, I'm just looking who that came from. It was Kablams, wasn't it? Plastic cups of dice divided up per unit, so you can just quickly shake them, and then, you know, obviously take those dice out as you take wounds as well, so that dice pool is getting shorter. It's a good idea. My concern is in the tournament with almost having too much paraphernalia, though, is quickly running out of space. Thinking of the layout in Warhammer World, there's no side tables, but there are at least stools that you can kind of place underneath the table. So, and that's why I'm thinking the tray is a really useful thing to have, is essentially it's just giving me another table to work to, particularly if my models are magnetized to it, because if the tray gets nudged and stuff like that, they're not just going to you know, just fly off the tray, if you like. Okay. I only get the oosh. I'm not quite sure where that is. Okay. Oosh. Oosh. Ouch. Anyway, we're at that. I think let's go into the last 15 minutes of the show, where I wanted to have a look at what was going off in the community. So, first and foremost, let's have a look around. There's been some cool stuff. Just as a reminder, this is the website. If you haven't seen it, if you've not subscribed, here it is. There's a bunch of content on there that you need to check out as well. For instance, we just recently uploaded Flesh Eater Courts and Sylvaneth Battle Report. That was kind of a long one, actually. It's about a 2-hour-long battle report, and it's only that long because it's part of this sort of experimental series of battle reports we're doing. I actually think I'll be trimming those down a little bit more, but it's in there, and for those premium members, go check it out. Seems to be proving good entertainment, at least. If you're not a premium member is only $2.99 a month. So that, look, as it says on the banner, that's less than a cup of coffee, or at least less than a cup of coffee in most coffee vendors, let's face it. But popping along to the forum, because as we can see, we've got a bunch of people at the moment on the forum. We can always see who's online at any time, and we've got Coleman and Ralph are always diligent members of the forum and keeping up to speed on this. And one of the things that kind of attracted me, if we go right to the top here, actually, we can see the recent posts, and we can see what people are posting. We've got Kablam's putting up the Iron Hands, and he's been doing some stunning work, you know, on his stuff with the use of plastic card at the moment. A few people saying hello, and a few people posting their other stuff up. But we've got Smoky Bong Guys here, great name, by the way. And as you can see, he's been working on his Oryx. And there's a whole bunch of, actually, you know what, you've been posting a huge amount of progress up, which is always good to see. That's a really nice effect on that smoke. It's that weird green glowing effect, isn't it? You'll have to excuse me when I'm streaming. My internet does struggle, so I'll do my best to pick up some of this stuff. But there's always some nice stuff up on this, so go check it out. Good glow off of that as well. Right, what else has been going off? Well, I wanted to have a quick look through Wargammer Online community, but before we do that, what else has been going off on the recent posts as well? What have we got here with Shifty Games from Chris Elliott? So we can see, you know what, that might be just straining my internet connection too much, but we'll try it. We'll try it. Is it going to load? There you go, it's in there. So, hey guys and girls, I'm working on a new startup game. Whoa, calm down. Startup game studio. We're hoping to put our first games up on Kickstarter around a month, so you check out our Facebook page. Well, there you go, Shifty Games. You've got an advert free of charge, and the good news is that's because we've got a retailer section inside our forums as well. So maybe actually before I head off, let's just check out the forum structure as well. Oh, Daryl's Cornate Horde. You know what? Let's jump off to that. Let's check out a Cornate Horde as well that Daryl's posted up. So while we're doing that, I also wanted to have a quick look at on Facebook. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I think my internet's down. Hello. I'm hoping everybody else is still there. I just saw a tiny error message pop up on the stream there, so I'm hoping everyone's still there. Okay, let's assume you are, and I will push on. Let's have a quick look at what's going off in the... Yes, I'm definitely having problems with my internet, but we will try and... Oh, look at all this I've got to dismiss. That's huge now. Let's see if I can get back to my home and pull up this community. I'm slightly worried that actually this is going to struggle given my internet connection, but we'll give it a go. So there's been quite a few people posting up on the community in the last few days. I mean, admittedly, a whole bunch of it's me panicking about my bases. So if you want to see what's going off with my bases, there's probably a better shot than you saw on the video. I think, like I say, bar deciding whether to go with Glottal or not, I think my bases are more or less there. Obviously, the edges need tidying up quite a bit. You know what, my internet is just, yeah, it's really struggling. I'm slightly concerned that this is not the day to go through the online stuff, I'm afraid. We'll see, we'll push on. Mr. Potter has been working on his corn. For those of you who have got a premium membership, you will have seen Mark playing Sylvaneth, tremendously so, bravely using the wooden Sylvaneth dice, which roll famously bad. So I'm just going to kill that tab in the hope that that increases my internet speed. Paul Elston working on more rats than you can throw a rat at, and Elston doing what he always does, just nailing out entire armies in the time that it takes for me to decide a colour scheme. But certainly check what Elston Nation's up to, and also bless him who's doing the chill and chat. We can't go past this without making comment, can we? This is Sam's Ogre. Oh, you know, Gorgon. Thank you, and of course Sam has been working on this stunning beauty. So this is just looking, the skin's looking insane on this. Just looks amazing, right down to kind of the toes and everything, isn't it? Okay, Sam, you're really putting me to shame. I know that, but you know, I can only do what I can do. But that is amazing. It's beautiful work and very cool. What else? We've got Daryl here painting his Khorne Mortals in one place. 1,290 points excluding the Soul Chaos Knight. I finished. Stunning work. Look, anyway, I only wanted to spend a few minutes just having a quick look at some of the posts. Do go check out this community stuff. Check out the blog on the website. Check out the community, the Wargammer Online community page, because there's a whole bunch of great work being posted up in there, and it's always nice to see this stuff. This thing that Corey posted up, this Scarab model. And I think it's Wild West Exodus, isn't it? Yeah, it's amazing. I love it. What a great looking model. Really freaky, really disturbing looking model. It'd be cool to see some Tyranid releases where they just go a little bit crazy like that as well, wouldn't it? Sort of more oddly bestial, if you like. So it'd be beautiful to see something like that. Matt Dell's been working on his Guilliman, and always good to see. 40k Guilliman, of course, should be noted. Some beautiful looking Space Wolves from Chris Sage as well. It's just, you know what, it's one of those things. If ever I need a little bit of a hobby mojo, I pop along to the community group, and see what's up to, and it's always incredibly inspiring stuff. Well, unless you're looking at my terribly rushed Fire Slayers, but there you go. Matt Harris, by the way, this just amazing OCD. This is what it's about. This is, for me, that's what life is completely about. If you want to buy a sofa bed as well, there's one going for £159 in Rugby. Awesome. Patrick, yeah, this is great. So Sam needs oh, it's called a something stone, isn't it? Herdstone. Herdstone. There it is. It's on the description. So given that Sam is absolutely up against it, getting his army done, Patrick's been an angel, and to his own benefit, of course, because Sam is paired up with excuse me. Sam is paired up with Patrick, so he's been working on a Hearthstone of epic proportions, and oh, I recognise that skull. I think I killed that beastie too and put it on my base, but I really love this. I really love it. All the little skulls and stuff and the little bugs, and then you've got this skull with a little Zeech thing scratched into it as well, and the Zeech symbol. It's where'd you get that Zeech symbol from, Patrick? That's one for you to tell us at a later time. So there you go. Check those things out. Let's what am I excited about on this? The classic. Okay, for those of you who don't even know what this thing is, then yes, I currently still own one of these little fellas across here, which was the original, if you like, land speeder, and they've done a classic release. I think it's stunning. I really like it. You know, I think it's one of those things. I'd see it as a collectible. I can't see me putting it on the table at any point. But a cute model, nevertheless. I really like it. It properly was a suicide vehicle, wasn't it? Let's face it. There's no armor. There's nothing. The only armor that the guy's got is a joystick. That's the only thing protecting him from an all-out frontal assault. It's just amazing, but cool to see. And it did make me smile, because of course it reminded me of ages gone past, when I was just a small boy, looking in through the shop window at the amazing models. Of course, you know, no surprise really, no surprise, but you know, once they ruled and they shall rule again, Forgebane is just the beginning of new Necron releases, or at least a new Necron codex. I think we've probably seen the Necron release. Excuse me. In terms of the cryptek, you'll have to excuse me yawning. I've had so little sleep over the last few days. I'm doing my best to keep awake. Tau Empire as well, Tactica, we had a little chat about that. Forgebane, yeah, what can I say? I'm incredibly excited about this. I did a brief show on it where I talked about it, but I really like the look of these models. This for me is something to look forward to. I know I've got to get my ooh, what's happened here? I know I've got to get my Gene Stealers finished, so that's going to be my next project I turn to. But the temptation of reserving the Mechanicum until the last quarter of the year, because it's Gene Stealers followed by Caradron Overlords, and then coming back and having a look at Mechanicum, just incredible. What a beautiful looking model. So I'm pretty excited to have those on pre-order. I'll do an unboxing when it arrives. I don't know whether I'm going to get it in any time, any short order, or whether I'll have the time to do the unboxing whilst preparing for the tournament. But if I do manage to get my hands on it, maybe I'll do a quick live show of just looking inside the box before we pop off to the tournament. But it's a great looking model. I really love the combination of the aesthetics. We've got the sort of Mechanicum legs there, which is, you know, has that more sort of Predator kind of scout runner, this sort of chicken leg, so it looks quick and it's fast. But there's all these lovely little design cues from the original Knights as well that carry over. Just think it's stunning. My favourite bit, and it's a strange old thing to say, I just love this cockpit hatch. I think it's great. I don't think they no longer do the 360 where you can grab it and look at it from above, which is a real shame on a model like this. But I love this cockpit. Stunning stuff. Right, okay, we are 2 minutes to 10, and I hate to say this, folks, but I've got a million models to paint, so I'm really slow on time. I'm still streaming, says a bunch of people. Thank you for that. Depimus Maximus, I still have one of the middle land speeders. I never did manage to get it to sit securely on the flybase. No. You can't make those things sit on a flying base. You have to just balance them on top of a house brick. That was the only way of making those things secure. I mean, they're obviously... I'm not sure about the middle one, but was that lead as well? So, I mean, we're talking a metal miniature. Yeah. They were just bricks. The joystick's protecting everything that counts. Al Kurtman is off, saying had a great time and he's off. So, good night, Al. Thank you for joining us. What else have we got? Umar's off, is going now, so I think a whole people are calling it a night, which is fair enough. So maybe it's time for me to call it a night. Like I say, I'm under a huge amount of pressure to get this army finished. I just want to get this magma drop on his base. To do that, I've got a little bit more work to do to the bases. I've got to paint the rim to the base, and then my plan is to get the army based up before I do the final finishing touches on the army. I don't need to keep them anymore on the little sticks, the mounted sticks, because I've kind of done all the recess work I need to do, and any detail I'm going to be picking up is like detail that's more visible. So if I'm highlighting stuff, it's stuff that I can see and I've got access to anyway. So I might as well get them on the base and at least have the confidence of there's a based army, and it's ready for the tournament. And if Jack can spare me an hour or two, I could even, in theory, put a quick game in and start to learn my unit rules. So my plan is, by the time I go to bed tonight, there'll be an army on the base. Now, whether that's realistic, I've still got all the edge work to do. I've got a bunch of spraying to do in terms of getting purity seal onto these bases to protect them, because there's quite a bit of airbrush work on these things. So they're not, although they look quite tough, they're not super tough. I've got to say, by the way, I've been really pleased with how this worked out. My 3D printer, I didn't put all of this detail in with the 3D printer. What I did was hack into it with a knife and a Dremel and all sorts of stuff, just to kind of add some additional detail and some variance into it. But I've been pretty pleased how that's worked out, I have to say. I kind of like as well, one of the things that I was working on is to get this black edge on this rock here without losing that glow from the rock behind. And I think there's a good example of where, when this black edge is in, you'll see this sort of yellow glow coming up this, which will be probably toned down just a little bit with some glazing, but we'll see. So I'm pretty pleased with that. I'm pretty pleased with how that's turned out. Really looking forward to getting the magma drop on. Glad I did the sort of deceased dragon. I kind of felt the bases. One, I wanted a real accent colour that stands out, and even purple blue colourblind, I can tell that stands out from the colour and provides a nice contrast. And you just don't see plants on lava bases, or at least not what I know of. Saying that, I've never googled, do you ever see plants on lager bases? Lager bases? Lager base would be interesting for a dwarf army. just literally puddles of lager, a little bit of froth, that kind of stuff. You know, lager bases is the next thing. Caradron overlords are going on lager bases. So yeah, I'm pretty pleased with them, I have to say. You know, to say they were, they looked like. I tell you what, I can show you. They look like this, only yesterday. So that's what those bases looked like yesterday. They were undercoated black, texture paint added to the top, because obviously my 3D printer isn't fine enough, and you can see a few areas where some of that's showing through, but given it's kind of lead, volcanic crystalline rock, I'm kind of saying I get away with it. Plus, of course, the feet of the magma drop are going on those bits anyway, so it's covered up. But it was a bit of texture paint on top, and then after that it was black undercoat again, just to make everything black, because I didn't have any black texture paint, I only had brown. And then it was a question of getting the yellow in there and a mixture of Minotaur ghost tints and trying this out. Because obviously this is just little square holes in this. I wanted a beveled effect where the lava is kind of like pooling up. So this is what's done this. This was the Vallejo water texture. Picked it up off Amazon for like, I think I paid about £5 for that bottle. It really wasn't a bad price at all, maybe about £7. And all I've done is drop 2 coats in, and it's just given me this little sort of bevel at the edge, which and also by overfilling it, it dried inconsistently, so it's created some ripples and some texture in there. I'm pretty happy with that. And the good news was, and this was, I did do a test base, so I didn't lose it. It was just a question of filling it up and seeing if it dried, and on the test base it did indeed dry. Right, Daryl says, thanks again for a great show, Phil. I'll post my forum picture on Facebook page too, since you missed it. Ah, Daryl, I'm so sorry. Oh, that was the one that didn't load though, but like I say, my internet was going down, so apologies, Daryl, if I missed that. Coleman says, thank you everyone for coming. Oh no, he missed my post as well, says Reaper. Look, I'm going to do a dedicated show where I go through my favourite posts, but what I want to do is I want to go through and screenshot them, because my internet, when I'm streaming, basically my internet is a one-way street, and if I'm sending the internet out, I can't get any internet back down. That's how it works. It just gets so nailed. So what I'm going to do is go through the community stuff, and I'll screenshot it and put a show together, and you will all get the attention you deserve, because it's great to see all that activity on the forums. Good luck, exceptional work. All Boy says, I hope they allow your bases. I hope so too. We did check, Patrick checked them, and apparently they do allow third-party bases, because it's about the model. So there is a ruling on third-party bases, they allow them. Bear in mind, my bases aren't third-party, I have sculpted them. I may well have 3D printed them, but the point is I sculpted them in a sculpting software, and it would be hard pressed for Games Workshop to argue that 3D design stuff isn't sculpted. So these are custom bases made by myself, and they are all within 1/4 millimeter the right size as well. So I can't see there being an issue, especially with the ruling that they don't 3D third-party bases don't constitute as a third-party element. Enjoy Warhammer World. Some of the pointers will be helpful for me at Adapticon. Excellent, thank you, Shiranen 2011. So cool. I hope you have a great time at Adapticon. I am insanely jealous. Reaper says he can see Sneaky Steve peeking in there. Yes, Steve is here. And Daryl says he'll let me off. And your favourite post. Okay, I'll forgive you. So I will go through and do that post show. One of the reasons today's show has just been about a little bit of a chat, really, and a bit of a mutter, is because, as you can guess, I'm really short on time. So this was not a show that was going to have a lot of prep, and unfortunately the internet just let me down there at the end. Right, I'm going to call it a night. I'm going to go back to the face cam so you can see my wonderful features up close. And yeah, say goodnight to everybody who joined us. Thank you very much. The next time you hear from me, I'm hoping to do a back rep on Wednesday. It's going to be a close call. If the army's based tonight, there's a bunch of painting to do tomorrow night. I'd like to try and get some of those tokens done. So I'm just going to have to see how I get on, because at the moment I'm also having to do a lot of work out of hours as well, so that's sort of really hitting into my time. And I don't want to show up at the tournament just absolutely shattered. I really don't want to do that, because I want to go with enough energy to try and enjoy it, I think. So we'll see, if you can forgive me. But the good news is we are set up, and I tell you what, if I do have to miss Wednesday, we will do a special double battle report the week after or something, and just get a couple of those up. Right, thank you, Steve, for leaning in from the corner.
That's
and
right.
Coming to keep me company as I was airbrushing 1,000 bases.
I managed to get my bone done, so
Excellent. More hobby work to come, and thank you to everybody who joined us. Thanks to everybody in the chat for making the show is what it is. It's great that everybody joins in and has a bit of fun on the chat as well, so thank you very much. Hopefully when this tournament's out of the way, my brain will be slightly less scrambled. My internet will be slightly more safer, and we can have a more relaxed show. So until then, we'll see you soon. Thanks for joining us all.
Cheers,
Bye.
guys.
Bye.